So, Charlie Kirk was assassinated while speaking at Utah Valley University yesterday. And that's a sentence I'm never going to get used to saying. I'm never going to get used to saying that. I'm never going to get used to talking about him in the past tense. But here we are. And the reason I'm making this video today is because I felt spiritually called to really start speaking out against more serious issues, standing up for my beliefs, and speaking out against the evils of this world. Up until now, I've tried to keep this channel lighthearted, but frankly, there's just too many things going on in this world that I feel need addressing, and I feel like more people need to step up and talk about these things. So here we are. So I have followed Charlie Kirk for a number of years. I've seen most of his campus videos that he's made, his campus tours. I've followed his page for again a number of years now. And I didn't always agree with Charlie Kirk on everything, and that's what made things fun to me is that I wasn't lockstep in what he believed, but I believed that he had an open and honest debate and dialogue with people, which is exactly what a political influencer should do. And so I always had respect for him in that area because when I would watch him, his style and the way he did things, I felt like was exactly how someone should do things. And, I think that he was the pretty much perfect political influencer. Not that his views were perfect, but in the way that he did things was pretty much perfect. Open mic style in the public, debating people face to face that disagree with you. I don't really think you can script it any better, even if you're on the right or the left. I think people would agree that that is pretty much the perfect way to do things. And so I had a lot of respect for him in that manner, and that's why I started following him. And again, I feel like it's hard to deny that the way he went about things, he wasn't disrespectful. He had an open mic. He had people shouting in his face constantly and calling him every name in the book and trying to go after him. And yet sat there with great resolve and just spoke to people face to face. And, that's what I'm always going to really remember him for and really have a lot of respect for him. And, so many political commentators today sat in a comfy chair or in some studio somewhere and they just talk to their own followers. And that's easy. That's really easy. If I wanted to create a channel called, the right wing tiger or the left wing tiger and just speak straight to whatever political bend I feel like is going to get me views, that's super easy. And that's what most of these people do. And I think that's what set Charlie apart is that he was one of the first people that I've seen to really have that open and honest dialogue because, most political influencers, I don't think most political influencers could stand for 5 minutes and have just a conversation with someone. I think they would fall apart because most political influencers are all talking points and things they're being fed and things that, they're looking up and whatever. It's like it's not an actual genuine knowledge they have or an actual genuine um, ability to articulate and to debate well. That's something that is very, very rare. And Charlie obviously had that. Whether you like him or not, he had a great ability to debate and a great ability to speak. And I've been very disheartened by a lot of the vile, backlash and people cheering for his assassination. I'm not even going to show it in this video because I'm just so tired of it. I don't even want to do the research and look it up. But you've seen it. I've seen it. I've seen it all night long. I've seen it all day long. And it's just exhausting. I want to talk more about the positives, what I have seen. I've seen more people than ever in my life stand up against evil. And I'm seeing people by the minute. Every time I refresh my Twitter page, I'm seeing people that are finding this situation as a call to action, finding the situation as a turning point for the USA, which is obviously a lot of people are saying this because that's what Charlie's organization was called. And, I think for far too long, people have tried to make peace with evil. And this is kind of my call to action is that I've always had this phrase ingrained in my brain. I've seen it for many, many years. And it says, I've seen it worded differently, but basically, do not make peace with evil, defeat it. And again, I feel like that is the call to action that I feel today. And that's what I intend to do on this channel going forward. I intend to speak out against things that need to be spoken out against, that people might be afraid to speak out against. I'm not going to be afraid to do that. And so if you guys want to be along for the ride, I'd love to have you. You don't always have to agree with me. And I don't want a community of people that always agree with me. I want a diversity in thought, but respect. For me, for my views, and I have respect for your views. That's how it should be. Um, The last thing I basically want to say here, two things. Number one is that the person who they still haven't, as of the recording of this video, it's 9/11 today, September 11th. And as of the recording of this video, they still haven't caught the person who did this. But the ironic thing is that they felt like in doing this, they were going to silence, I'm sure, Charlie's message, stop him. And, it's going to be hard to tell what the timeline would have looked like had he, gotten to 35, 40, what that would have looked like and who would have been president and would he have run for president? Who knows? But I have never seen such a groundswell from something like this. I've never seen more people standing up and, making content and speaking on their heart. And so instead of just having one individual, now you've spurred millions, hundreds of millions of people now who are going to, pick up the mic and go speak now and go have these conversations. And so this is completely pointless from the person's point of view or whatever they were trying to accomplish because I don't know what they were trying to accomplish. It's a very, very low IQ, I think. Very, very low IQ thing to do, to have someone you disagree with and think, "Oh, let's end their life because that's gonna make things right," or "That person's mean to me, so let's end." That's not how civilized people think. That's not how people with high IQs think. That's not how things work at all. And also, what ends up happening with people like this who have low IQs, uh, specifically speaking about the assassin again, just to be clear, is that they are influenced heavily by people. And I've always found it interesting for years that rhetoric has been brought up about how certain politicians speak. And there's been all this criticism about how people on the right speak and how we should regulate their speech. And I just keep thinking about all the people on the left, people like Gavin Newsom, people like Tim Walz, a lot of rhetoric that's very, very fiery, that's very, very charged. At what point do we start linking what they've said to things that are happening in the world? Um, and I've seen a lot of those same people try to come out today and sort of, you know, give sympathy, give empathy, say we should come together. But, that's not really my point in this video, is that should be happening. Again, I think we should be finding a call to action. I think we should be standing up for what we believe in. And I think we should be defeating evil, not making peace with it. And the last thing I want to say is that I do want to genuinely offer prayers, condolences, and just pray that the Lord wraps his arms around Erica Kirk, so the wife of Charlie Kirk, and their two little ones, two kids. Again, this is so far beyond anything that I would ever imagine for someone to think. I have these times in my life. It sounds weird to say this or to articulate this, but sometimes you have a thought or you see something happen and you realize you never had that thought, right? I don't know if that makes sense, but sometimes evil happens and it's so weird because you've never actually thought that thing. You've never actually thought to yourself like, "Oh, I'm going to harm someone," or "Oh, I should harm someone." And so it's so foreign, it's so odd, it's so hard to process. But to leave children without a father, to leave a mother without a husband is a very special kind of evil. And, you know, whether or not this person is caught remains to be seen. But I like to think that there is an eternal punishment, and we'll see. That's not in my hands. It's not in our hands. That is for the afterlife and for a much higher power to decide. But anyway, I appreciate you guys watching this video. If you sort of enjoyed the um, kind of the more serious video like this, or if you want to be along for the ride, because I'm going to keep doing this, feel free to subscribe to the channel. I would absolutely love to have you. And again, you don't have to agree with me. You don't have to agree with Charlie Kirk. But if you're a decent, civilized individual who is up for an open discourse, an open debate, and having honest integrity, then I'd love to have you be a part of this channel. So thank you for watching. Rest in peace, Charlie Kirk. And I just continuously pray for the entire Kirk family.